Hidden in Egypt's western desert stood a temple where gods whispered and empires listened. The Temple of the Oracle at Siwa wasn't just a place of worship, it was a portal to divine prophecy. Even Alexander the Great journeyed across scorching sands to hear its verdict. Surrounded by dunes and silence, this mysterious temple housed an oracle that rivaled those of Delphi. But how did it earn such power? Who were the priests that spoke on behalf of the gods? And what secrets lie buried beneath its crumbling walls? The Siwa Oracle is more than legend. It is an ancient echo that still mystifies the world today. Siwa is an isolated oasis in the western Egyptian desert near the Libyan border. For millennia, it was a place of refuge, water, and survival, far from the Nile's familiar fertility. In this secluded paradise rose the Temple of Amun, built around the 6th century BCE. The choice of location wasn't random. Siwa was believed to be where the sun god Amun spoke clearest. The temple was perched atop a rock outcrop overlooking the entire oasis. It was both unreachable and revered, accessible only by those willing to brave the desert's wrath for a glimpse of destiny. At the heart of the Siwa Oracle was Amun, the supreme creator deity in Egyptian theology. In Siwa, Amun was not worshipped through rituals alone. He was consulted. Pilgrims sought answers to questions of war, inheritance, fate, and kingship. The priests acted as intermediaries, delivering cryptic messages after entering trances or dreams. The answers were never direct, but layered with symbolism, requiring interpretation. The belief was absolute. Amun spoke only truth. Kings came, not to offer tribute, but to receive legitimacy. To be confirmed by the oracle was to rule with divine right, and many craved it. In 331 BCE, Alexander the Great made a dangerous detour to Siwa during his conquest of Egypt. The trek across the desert was treacherous. Sandstorms, thirst, and isolation haunted his caravan. But Alexander was determined. He believed himself to be a son of Zeus Amun and wanted divine confirmation. When he arrived, the oracle welcomed him, reportedly addressing him as a god's son. What exactly the oracle told him remains a mystery. Alexander never revealed it. But afterward, he acted with even more confidence, cementing his rule over Egypt and preparing for his campaigns into Asia. Siwa had spoken and shaped history. The inner workings of the oracle's rituals remain shrouded in secrecy. Only a select priesthood could enter the sacred inner chamber. They likely used incense, rhythmic chanting, and isolation to achieve trance-like states. Some believe they used natural desert acoustics to enhance the effect of the divine voice. Oracles were often accompanied by symbolic signs, bird movements, dream interpretations, or celestial alignments. The answers could determine wars, shift alliances, or crown pharaohs. But the priest's power was fragile. Any proven false prophecy could shatter their divine reputation. And so, they guarded their methods as fiercely as the temple itself. As Christianity spread through Egypt in the 4th century CE, old temples fell silent. The worship of Amun was declared pagan, and the Siwa Oracle was abandoned. Time and erosion slowly dismantled the stone walls. Without pilgrims, the priests vanished. But even in ruin, the temple's mystique remained. Travelers, historians, and archaeologists continued to seek the site, curious about its ancient energy. Though the structure was partly lost to time, its legend endured. The desert buried the voices, but couldn't erase the memory. The oracle's fall was not defeat. It was retreat into mystery. In the 20th century, archaeologists identified the temple ruins in Agurmi village, near modern Siwa. Stone foundations, broken columns, and desert-worn inscriptions offered fragments of the past. Local folklore still tells stories of the god. Who once spoke here? Some say energy lingers, strange feelings, visions, or calm in the chamber's remains. Though much of the temple has collapsed, Conservation efforts are now underway. The site is protected, visited by travelers, and studied by scholars. While we may never recover its full story, each carved stone holds a whisper. The oracle may be gone, but its riddle lives on. The Temple of the Oracle at Siwa is more than a ruin. It's a reminder of how ancient people sought the future in silence and sand. In a world without microphones or screens, divine truth echoed through carved walls and whispered answers. Kings bowed to it. Empires were built on its words, and its story continues to inspire mystics, historians, and seekers alike. In the middle of nowhere, it became the center of everything. Because when the world listened to Siwa, it wasn't just hearing a prophecy. It was hearing its own destiny reflected back through sacred stone.